EKU police are investigating after someone left threatening graffiti in a campus bathroom.
Last, a pedestrian was hit and killed on the road behind me. Now state police say they're trying to determine what he was doing in the middle of the road.
Most people in central Kentucky probably didn't know it happened. Why reports of an earthquake in Shelby County are not that surprising to hear about.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good afternoon. Eastern Kentucky University is still on high alert tonight after a threatening message was found on campus. The message was spray painted on a bathroom wall on campus.
Eastern's president has since announced that threats like this one will not be tolerated, and there is a $10,000 reward for information leading to a conviction. Our Sean Moody is on campus tonight. He tells us what precautions the campus is taking in our top story at 5:30.
EKU officials say that $10,000 reward they offered yesterday has been bringing in some information. EKU police are reviewing those tips, and students at the university don't appear to be too rattled about the threat today. That reward seems to have sent a message.
We're not going to tolerate this kind of threat or anyone trying to harm people on our campuses. So we have been getting a number of calls, some information.
EKU police, along with the FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force and local police, are all following up on those tips. The message said in part, "Kill all by 10/8/15," and the rest of the message is unclear. Model Laboratory School on EKU's campus has students from kindergarten up to 12th grade. They've closed for the next few days.
So I don't think it's really bothering anyone. You know, they probably watching their backs every few seconds, but other than that, I think everything's going all right.
The mood was pretty normal around campus today. Some evening events this week were postponed so that police could focus on providing security at larger events. EKU's president said that if students were concerned, they could make plans with their professors to get work done outside of class.
If they really are feeling a sense of anxiety and do not want to be here, that they will be able to make up work, get excuses with their absences, and we want to be understanding that this could cause some uneasiness for some of our students.
And Model will make up the days they're missing later in the school year. In Richmond, Sean Moody, WKYT.
And this is the second graffiti threat this year at EKU. Back in February, someone left a message in a bathroom in nearby Combs Hall. New tonight, the Louisville Metro Arson Bureau is looking for a man who may have ties to Lexington. Investigators say the man is a person of interest wanted in connection with a deadly fire. The fire happened on July 2nd at a three-story building on South 2nd Street in Louisville. 3 people died and 4 people, including 2 firefighters, were injured. Investigators released pictures this afternoon. They say the person of interest in this case is a black man who was driving a white semi-truck without a trailer the night before and the morning after the fire.
His neighbors want to know why he was walking in the road. State police say Sean Powell was walking along Mount Vernon Road near Berea last night when he was hit by a car and killed. Police tell us Powell stepped into the path of the car. Victor Puente is tracking the investigation.
This road was closed for several hours following that crash. Now state police are trying to determine why the man who was hit was in the middle of the road. A man who lives on Mount Vernon Road says around 8:30 Monday night, he heard the impact.
I heard a thump, and it sounded like a car hitting a tree or maybe a tree falling down.
Kentucky State Police say they're still trying to determine what led 44-year-old Sean Powell to walk into the path of that car. They say the driver had no time to respond and didn't know she had struck a person until she turned her car around to see what she had hit. Richard Glidden says he knew Powell, and once he learned it was him, he had a lot of questions about what had happened.
I thought, oh, wonder what Sean was doing walking out on the road at that time of night, you know, although it wasn't all that late.
State police say they don't expect any charges to be filed against the driver who struck Sean Powell. In Madison County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Sean Powell was from Berea. State police say the woman who hit him is from Paint Lick.
As far as the weather, another beautiful day here in the Bluegrass. If you're enjoying this out there, You're lucky.
It looks like this weather will stick around for next couple of days or so. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early check of the forecast.
Yeah, enjoy for those of us who have to be cooped up inside on a fine fall day like what we have out there now. A lot of sun early, now a little more in the way of some clouds that are filtering in across the region. Here at the station on Winchester Road, real-time weather, we've dropped it to 77 degrees now, and that thermometer continues to slowly drop as we go throughout the evening. Winds are coming at us again from the east and the northeast. Rainfall today, how about goose eggs? Nothing showing up yet again, not expecting anything for the next couple of days. That little round of clouds, though, especially across parts of central Kentucky into the northern part of the state, a little thicker than what we're seeing across the south, though. Should be an excellent sunset coming up for many of us in just a little over an hour and a half or so. That sunset getting earlier and earlier. Gorgeous fall weather continues for a few more days, then late week rains are on the way as a cold front dips into the bluegrass state. And of course, that will have some cooler temperatures that will follow that up. Question is, though, how quickly will the rains get in and out of town for the weekend that's around the corner, guys? Never too early to look ahead toward that weekend, and we'll do just that when I come back in a few minutes.
No, it's not. Thank you, Chris. An earthquake's being blamed for waking some people up last night in central Kentucky. The U.S. Geological Survey says the 2.7 earthquake hit a few miles north of Shelbyville about 11 o'clock. Shelby County dispatchers tell us there was no damage reported. No injuries were reported either. Many people who lived near where the quake hit say they heard a loud noise.
We heard what we thought was a huge explosion and the house shook, and then we went out to see what damage there was, but we didn't see any damage.
According to the USGS, the north central area of Kentucky borders the northern and western edge of the New Madrid seismic zone. It's part of what is called the Illinois Basin Ozark Dome region, which is considered seismically active. They say the largest earthquake in the area was a 5.4 earthquake back in 1968.
A man has been sentenced to life in prison for beating a woman and stealing her purse. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Hardin County. According to a Louisville TV station, Travis Jeter was arrested back in January after he attacked a 61-year-old woman and stole her purse outside the town mall in Elizabethtown. The woman suffered a broken nose and eye socket. Police also say Jeter had told them at the time he'd been using crack cocaine on a regular basis since his release from prison in December of 2014, and because of his criminal history, the judge sentenced him to life in prison. In Marion County, state police have issued an arrest warrant for a man. Troopers say they're looking for Michael Isaiah Lancaster. The warrant is for a charge of engaging in organized crime. State police say Lancaster uses an alias of Michael Kendrick. He was last known to be in Lebanon, but may have contact in the Louisville area. In Russell County, state police are asking for the public's help in finding a missing woman. 24-year-old Whitney Danielle Copley of Dunville was last seen on September 30th. Troopers say she's 5'7", weighs about 110 pounds, with brown hair and hazel eyes. She also has tattoos of 3 stars and an infinity logo on her wrist, tattoos of bows on her legs, and a tattoo of a dragonfly on her lower back. Her last known address was on Decatur Road, but she's also known to stay in the Houstonville area.
New at 5:30, a plan to let people hike, bike, or even horseback across the state is in motion now. Today, Governor Beshear and First Lady Jane Beshear unveiled a statewide trail plan. The Cross Kentucky Master Trail Plan will help communities develop and maintain different types of trails across the state. The plan will also support a Kentucky Trail Town program, which is designed to help connect communities to trail systems and help develop them as tourist destinations.
But this helps to improve the tourism economy. It helps to add local jobs and create more tourism opportunities for the entire state, again connecting one to the other.
Right now there are 9 Kentucky trail towns and more than 30 others are in the application process. Over the last 5 years, the economic impact that tourism has had on the state has gone from $2 billion to $13 billion.
The Kentucky Board of Education has approved a contract with the new state education commissioner. The board voted today to approve a 4-year contract for Stephen Pruitt with an annual salary of $240,000. Pruitt will succeed Terry Holliday, who retired in August. Associate Commissioner Kevin Brown has been serving as interim commissioner. Pruitt was the senior vice president of an independent education reform organization where he's been since 2010. He's expected to begin work in Kentucky later this month.
As we've reported this week, UK has announced major changes for parking when the football team plays next Thursday night against Auburn at Commonwealth. Our good question tonight related to that game is from Ann of Lexington. You all reported that Kentucky had not had a Thursday night game in over 70 years. Did you mean at home? They did play South Carolina on a Thursday night in 2007 in South Carolina. And you're right. The last time UK played a home football game on a weeknight was 1939 on November 30th against Tennessee. I love these old pictures. This is a locker room picture of the UK varsity football team the year before, compliments of Lafayette Studios in UK. The Cats did play on a Thursday night on the road against South Carolina. You're right, in 2007, UK was undefeated at the time and lost to South Carolina that night. But it has been 76 years since they played at home on a weeknight. If you have a good question.
Major party candidates tell us why Kentuckians should elect them to be the next governor.
Our Bill Bryant sat down with Matt Bevin and Jack Conway. He has details in the bottom line.
Good evening. On WKYT's Kentucky Newsmakers, we're bringing you conversations with the candidates for governor of the Commonwealth, and this weekend will begin with Republican Matt Bevin. I've also interviewed Democrat Jack Conway, which will run the next weekend, and will invite independent Drew Curtis for the following week. Conway and Bevin differ on several major issues, including health care and Kentucky's long-term approach to education. But I point out that Governor Steve Beshear has had to handle several crises in his 8 years in office, including tornadoes, flooding, and ice and snowstorms that overwhelmed communities until the state could step in. Each of the major party candidates makes the case that he is ready to deal with the unforeseen.
You know, I've been a legal counsel to the governor in the past. I did that for 6 years. So I know the way that the National Guard is activated. I know the proper channels. I think I'm very prepared. I've been the Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Kentucky now for 8 years.
I'm the only one in this race who's ever been the executive of anything. I've been a chief executive. I'm also a former active duty Army officer. I know all about making life and death decisions in a timely manner. I mean, this is what I have been trained to do. It's what I've done in both the public and private sectors.
Now, again, we'll be running those interviews with the gubernatorial candidates over the next 3 weeks. We'll play them in alphabetical order, beginning with Bevin this weekend. The election is 4 weeks from today. There is a debate at Center College tonight, and WKYT and WLKY in Louisville are teaming up with the League of Women Voters and EKU for a debate on Sunday evening, October 25th. The public can obtain tickets to that event now by reserving them at EKUcenter.com or contacting the center by phone. Now, we'll see if a petition with hundreds of names on it changes any minds at Lexington City Hall. Some residents want trick-or-treating rescheduled from October 31st when the Breeders' Cup events are underway and UK has a home football game on that evening. Mayor Jim Gray recently told me that it usually makes sense to stick with the calendar and have Halloween on Halloween. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
Well, this time last year was nothing but a cornfield, but today construction of a new Bullitt Distilling Company in Shelby County is moving full speed ahead. Crews broke ground on the $115 million project last August, and today distillery leaders announced that construction is on schedule to be up and running by the end of the year. Along with Bullitt Bourbon, the facility will produce a number of current and future Diageo and North American whiskey brands.
Once completed, this distillery will employ about 30 people who will specialize in maturation, distillation of Bullitt Frontier whiskey.
6 barrel warehouses will be on the 300-acre site. Each will be able to hold 55,000 barrels.